If you want to know how to build your personal brand as a real estate agent and become top of mind, you need to stay tuned for this one, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through the 8 cardinal rules of building a powerful brand that will help you become recognized in your market so that you dominate it like Brian Serhant. What's up, everyone? It's Mike Sherrard. Thanks so much for tuning in as always. And I'm really passionate about this topic, which is personal branding. I've been able to work hard on my personal brand over the last 3.5 years, and it's gotten to the point where almost all of my business now comes directly to me through social media as a real estate agent, and I want to help you get to the same place. You'll hear a lot of people like Gary Vaynerchuk and all of these people talking about the importance of personal branding, but a lot of real estate agents struggle with it, so you need to watch the entirety of this to understand the 8 rules of building a personal brand, and I'm going to break each and every one of them down so that you know exactly how it applies to being a real estate agent. So let's get straight into the value. The first one is specialization. So what does this mean? This means laser beam focus in one area of expertise, because nobody can be everything to everybody. A lot of people talk about the fact that you can't be a fence rider, and you need to focus in and hone in one certain area of expertise, whether that be luxury, acreages, first-time home buyers, investors, flippers, things like that. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, Mike, what were you recognized for? As well as having the question of, well, does that mean I have to start turning down clients? It very much does not mean that. So I got recognized for being well-versed in social media marketing, and people in my city started recognizing that I could get more exposure on properties by properly leveraging Facebook ads and creative social media marketing strategies. And in a tough market like we were in, where only on average about 27% of listed homes actually sell, that was a very unique value proposition that a lot of people really wanted, because they understood that it could help get their property more exposure than other agents. And that's what I became recognized for. So it wasn't necessarily that I had to focus solely in on one particular style of property or price point. I worked with everybody across the board, but I did become recognized for something. So for you, it doesn't mean that you have to not work with first-time home buyers if you become recognized for luxury, but it does help to become recognized for something, and that's what every strong personal brand does. Number 2 is leadership. You need to become recognized as a leader, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be a team leader. It doesn't necessarily mean that, you have to be leading a group of people, but you have to be a leader yourself. You have to be seen as an authority in your space. You have to have the confidence, the industry knowledge, and that's where a lot of agents do have the opportunity to shine as a leader, is being a leader in their marketplace, being somebody that has the answers. And you can even do this as a brand new real estate agent, just simply by taking a couple hours a day, or even just 1 hour a day, every single day, studying the stats in your market, looking at the different data and the analysis, so that when people come to you with a question, you can always have the answer. And that ultimately will help you become recognized as a leader in this space, which is number 2 on the top list of 8 branding laws. Number 3 is your personality. So a lot of people like to take this from the SWOT analysis. If you don't know what a SWOT analysis is, it's SWOT: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So this is something that every entrepreneur does with themselves, as well as their products if they're about to launch a new product in the market. But I strongly advise you doing a SWOT analysis on your own self. So you need to look at your strengths, you need to look at your weaknesses so that you understand the key points of where you need to fill in the gaps. You need to look at the opportunities. For me, the opportunity was saying, hey, not a lot of agents in my market are actually capitalizing properly on social media. That's an opportunity. I needed to look at the threats like you need to do, which is, okay, there's a couple agents that are starting to become active on social media. They've got a lot more money than I do. They've been in the industry longer than I have. So that's a bit of a threat to me, because if they see what I'm doing and they apply their much more substantial budget to it and their industry experience to that, that becomes a threat to what I'm trying to achieve. So what you need to do is look at the opportunities, match it with the threats, and find out how you're going to creatively structure and strategize around positioning yourself so that you can capitalize on the opportunities without falling victim to the threats. And the last component of personality is looking at how do people describe you, what you need to understand, and this is insanely important. Your personal brand is actually what you say it is, as well as what other people are saying it is. And if you look at the 2 circles that intersect each other, there's what you say it is over here, what they say it is, and the intersection in the middle is what your personal brand actually becomes. So you want to make sure that you're not saying one thing, conveying yourself in a way, but people think you're the exact opposite, because that causes confusion. So look at what people are saying, do a SWOT analysis, and that's what will help you develop your personality into a powerful personal brand. Number 4 is distinctiveness. Every single strong personal brand is distinctive, and you need to identify what is your unique value proposition. So what makes you unique, and what is going to make you different and separate you from the other agents in your market, which can be very easy. But the problem is a lot of agents don't take the time to understand this. A lot of them just say that they love working with people, that they, love making a difference and helping others, which is great. We all do, but that doesn't make you different, because the other 5,500 agents in my market just scattered around the city behind me all say the same thing. So that's, if I go into a listing presentation and that's what I say too, they're not going to work with me versus somebody else. But my unique value proposition was the fact that, again, I was very strong at branding, exposure, marketing, and quality. So I had the best quality photography and videography. I could pair that with industry-leading social media strategies, and that made me very distinct, as well as the fact that I did have a bit of an identifiable brand with the purple color and the purple cars and things like that. But your unique value proposition is something you deeply need to think about, where you can go in and confidently answer during any listing presentation what makes you different than the next person. Because if you cannot answer why somebody should work with you versus the top agent in your market, even as a brand new agent, you need to get back to the drawing board. So think about this for a bit and understand what makes you distinct compared to the rest of the people in your market center. Number 5 is visibility. You must be visible repeatedly and consistently, which is why social media has become such a powerful asset to use as a real estate agent. That's why people have bus benches, billboards, mailers, things like that, because you need to be repeatedly visible so that you become, but also remain top of mind. This is why strategies like retargeting on Facebook ads increase conversion by up to 150%, because they don't just see you once, they see you over and over every single week, which is why bus benches can work in the long time, because if they see somebody's face over and over and over, Facebook ads just happen to be a massive amount cheaper than any sort of physical traditional style of marketing. But again, this is why social media is incredibly powerful, because for free, you can constantly be in front of people just by posting. But what you need to make sure is that you're posting not only on every platform, but that you're consistent in doing so, which is why a content calendar or something that helps you keep track of it, or using a posting platform like Buffer in order to schedule your posts, will help you have that consistent presence and make it very easy on yourself. Number 6 is a really interesting one, which is utility. Utility is honesty. And I know that might sound obvious, is that we have to be obvious. It's actually, one of the things we're obligated to do as a real estate agent is be honest and transparent with transactions. But as we all know, there's a lot of agents out there that simply are not honest and lie about multiple offers on certain properties that don't actually have them, or, different things like that. So what you need to do is make sure that the person you're conveying on the outside is the same as the person you're conveying on the inside. So if I convey myself as this nice, genuine person on social media, but behind the scenes, I'm an egotistical maniac, that causes a misalignment, and that's not good for your personal brand. But that's why things like Instagram stories and raw live video really help agents, because it gives people the ability to build up the trust factor when you're trying to build like, know, and trust with your audience on social media or any other platform, because it allows you to be very raw and honest with people. And that way people get to know your true personality, so when they meet you in person, it's the same as what they saw online. Number 7 is about persistence. Persistence in the consistency of your brand all the time. There's a lot of people that I check out on social media that have maybe a very nice Facebook page, but you check on Instagram and it's just a reincarnation of a Homes and Land magazine. And then you look on YouTube and it looks like they designed it in 5 minutes on Canva. And then LinkedIn, they have almost no presence. You want to make sure as you build your personal brand that it's consistent across the board, and you're very persistent about that consistency. So for me, if you look on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, all of the cover images are very much the same, just slightly formatted differently to adhere to each unique platform sizing criteria. But all of the colors are the same, all of the photos are the same, all of the branding is the same. and that even in my posts and my videos, all of the branding is persistently consistent, so that no matter where people find me and no matter where they look at you, they're going to find the same quality. Because what you don't want is to go into a listing presentation and you've got this beautiful listing presentation, they check out your Facebook page and it looks great, but then they look at your YouTube videos and they're terrible, and then they look on LinkedIn and you don't have one, and then you look at Instagram and the photos are stock images. You want to be consistent across the board every single time. And number 8 is goodwill. Do you have good intentions with everything that you're doing? And I know this, similar to utility, sounds obvious with being honest, but goodwill is really important because there are a lot of agents that don't do things for the better of their clients. They do things for the better of themselves, getting a quick commission check. And that's something that will start to tarnish your personal brand over time. Even if you have to make a decision that's not going to help you in this short run, you need to make sure that you make those decisions to help people for the greater good with goodwill intent, so that over time you become recognized as somebody that always does the right thing, even if it's not the answer that people want to hear. And again, this happens across the board with every single thing you're doing, whether it be buyers, sellers, video content on YouTube, for me creating my social media programs that people can enroll in. I need to make sure that I'm always doing things with the greater good intent of helping people scale their business. Because if I ever do something that's selfish, at the end of the day, I'm going to get a bunch of bad reviews and nobody's going to like it, and that's going to really hurt my brand over time. But because of the fact that I've always invested in over delivering, I've become recognized to the point where people go into my programs and they start to become excited about the content that is more than they were expecting, which means I'm over delivering because I have goodwill intent of truly helping people scale their business the modern way. So those are the 8 cardinal rules of building a personal brand. And what you need to do now is get back to the drawing board, rewatch a couple of these sections so you can make sure that you can write on a Google Doc or something like that all of the different 8 criteria and how it applies to you, and identify your weaknesses, especially doing that SWOT analysis. So if you have any other questions about building your personal brand, just drop a comment below and I'm more than happy to give any of the feedback that I possibly can. But as always, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next time.